Welcome to Vedic Mathematics, Science and Technology format parallel to happening within rays of the sun. As features focus 1, we have been concentrating upon Surya Rashmi. Today, as features focus 2, we will be face to face with Purush Satta, and in the next session, we will be face to face with the features focus of the format features and values of Brahma and. These are the three basic steps. These are the three basic features sources. We have to focus upon these triple sources to be face to face with the VMS&T format parallel to happening within rays of the sun. The triple sources as such are aimed to be at the triple source pillars of VMS&T. These are Surya, Sun, Dhruv, pole star, and Brahm, eternity. Sun, pole star, and Brahma entity, eternity as Brahm are the triple source pillars of this format. Formulation Surya is of TC value 13, formulation Dhruv is of TC value 19, and formulation Brahm is of TC value 28. The transition from Surya to pole star to Dhruv is of value 6. Transition from 6 space Surya to 7 space pole star is to be of value 6, which would mean that we have to avail 6 space content, then 6 space content manifesting as domain fold of hypercube 6, the representative or regular body of a 6 space with 4 space in the role of dimension. We know that the third Ushmana letter, Sha, is of value 6, and 6 is the Surya Ank. As such, in the first features focus, we have been at the organization format features of third Ushmana letter. The script form of third Ushmana letter as it is parallel to the split for the 3 space body hypercube 3 as a pair of prisms. It is this setup of pair of prisms which is the basic format for the Surya Rashmi chase or the features focus 1 as such is of this script form. It is the script form of third Ushmana letter. It is of value 6 and it is going to be one of the pair of prisms synthesizing hypercube 3. So it is the prism which is going to be the geometric format for the Surya Rashmi chase. Further, we have seen that this separating spatial format is of diagonal placements and its center is a creative space in the role of origin of a 3 space, and the pair of surfaces, pair of faces of the separating surface as such brings us face to face with the pair of origins, creative origins, which synthesize together value 6. So it is in terms of it that we reach at 6 space And further we know that synthesis value of pair of creative dimensions which synthesizes value 6 is by availing the intervening space Akash Tattva, which plays the role of transcendental boundary of 6 space. So it is the Akash Tattva, the transcendental boundary of our solar universe. Akash Tattva is the fifth element, and this value is 8 plus 21 is equal to 29, which is parallel to TCV and Brahma, and it is the presiding deity of the creators of space. As such, as an end result of this chase, we reach at the organization format of Akash Tattva playing its role, and Akash Tattva as value 29 parallel to TC value of formulation Brahma, the overlord of creators of space, with 5 space in the role of the origin of the 4 space, and this placement of the transcendental origin amounts to creation of a transcendental cavity here, and this cavity is enveloped within a creative boundary of 10 components. It is this value 10 of creative component which will help us appreciate when we will be with the Purusha Sukta of Yajurveda as well as of a Rig Veda. Chapter 31 of Yajurveda is a text which will ultimately help us to acquire the proper insight as well as to attain the proper appropriate enlightenment about Purusha Satta. Today our focus is upon Purusha Satta. Here the preservation as it is giving us an enlightenment that this Purusha Satta as it is will be having and 10 angul shesh. It is this 10 angul shesh remainder. It is this remainder of a creative boundary of 10 components at the origin, which is going to remain uncovered by all other steps, and it is the Purusha Satta. So Purusha Satta is this Satta is the format which is at the end is going to provide us creative boundary of 10 components. We know value 10 is of organization 4 plus 6. Further we know that the 4 creative components as such will be synthesizing a 6 space. It is this strip off of the creative component and dimensionalization of the outer space as a 6 space which is the ultimate attainment in terms of the transcendental cavity. So within the rays of the sun, Surya Rashmi, there is a transcendental cavity. Transcendental cavity means 5 space playing the role of an origin. Its placement as such will be giving us 5, 6, 7 and 8. This cavity will be leading us to value 26, and step ahead is going to be 6, 7, 8 and 9. It is value 30. So the transcendental cavity takes us to self-referral origin, and it is this self-referral origin which is the Purusha Satta. So Surya Rashmi takes us to Purush Satta. The Purusha Satta is a formulation of TC value 38 which accepts an organization 19 plus 19, and we know that pair of dimensional axes of value 19 will synthesize value 21, and further we know that value 21 is of an organization 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, which is the format of a Sthapatya miring rod, 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space, 5 space and 6 space, and we know that domain boundary ratio of the formulations is of value 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12, and these are the features of the Shad Chakras, 6 eternal circuits of the human frame, means the Purusha, means the human body. So Purusha is having a Satta. Satta means 14, which is equal to 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, and it is of hypercube 4. And we know that formulation Sharir, body, as well is of TC value 14. Therefore Purusha Satta will lead us to Shad Chakras format. As such, the sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of urge to be parallel with the format of VMS&T, being parallel to, happening within rays of the sun, has to sequentially reach from Surya Rashmi to Purusha Satta. It is the Purusha Satta within Surya Rashmi which is going to be the aim. The sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be face to face with the VMS&T format parallel to happening within rays of the sun have to transit within Surya Rashmi to glimpse Surya Satta. It is this glimpsing of Surya Satta which is and should be the aim of the sadhakas. Sadhakas shall sit comfortably and to permit the transcending mind to dive within the cavity of one's own heart. Where is that seat, transcendental seat? Where is the placement of a transcendental cavity? Mind is to transcend through this transcendental cavity of an heart. It is by transcending within the transcendental cavity of the heart that one will be blessed with the transcendental grace. And it is this transcendental grace which will go parallel to the enlightenment of Lord Brahma multiplying as 10 Brahmas. It is this feature which is the feature preserved here. It is this enlightenment which is preserved in the first richa, first mantra of the Purusha Sukta. The first mantra of the Purusha Sukta is the enlightenment as to how the sadhakas transcending within cavity of one's heart go parallel to the enlightenment path of Lord Brahma, Creator the Supreme, and there is a multiplication as 10 Brahmas. It is this thus angul, it is this feature, it is this extra attainment, it is this remainder value which is to be reached at, and this can be reached at by having a transcendence from Surya to Purusha, from Surya Rashmi to Purusha Satta. Surya is of TC value 13, while Purusha is of TC value 24. And 24 we know is equal to 13 plus 11. 11 we know is the value of the 11 geometry's range of 5 space, while 13 is the value of the 13 geometry's range of 6 space. Therefore, it is here where the 6 space enveloped within 5 space is the phenomenon, and it is this phenomenon which will be leading us to value 13, and here will be value of 11, and total will be value 24, and it is Purusha. So reaching from Surya to Purusha is the format chase of being through the transcendental cavity. We have to be through the transcendental cavity to attain this grace to glimpse the Purusha format. The Purusha format, the human body sustenance manifestation features can be glimpsed by being face to face with the Purusha Satta. A step ahead will be that we have to glimpse, we have to be face to face with, we have to imbibe the existence phenomena, values, format, features of Brahman, and this is the feature of value 42, and it is the value of Mehe as 20. Now 20 and 20 leading us to value 40, and 40 is the value which as dimension will lead us to 42. Further, 42 is equal to 21 plus 21. It is the value of the Sthapatya ring rod. How the value 21 at the domain folds leads us to value 42 at the boundary. These Shad chakras with their external characteristics as 2, 4, 6, 8 and 12 lead to the summation value 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 plus 12 is equal to 42. It is this value which is going to be the value of a Brahman. As such, the sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel to the format of Vedic mathematics, science and technology, being parallel to happening within rays of the sun and happening within the human frame, as happening within our solar universe, have to sit comfortably and to transcend within cavity of one's heart to attain a transcendental grace and a step ahead to have transcendental self-referral order. It is Swambhu, it is self-referral transcendental format. It is that one is to glimpse Brahm, and from Surya Rashmi we have to reach within it Purusha Satta, and from Purusha Satta we have to reach at Brahman. Let us have a pause here and see that the difference value between 30 and 38 is 8, while the difference value between 38 and 42 is 4. That means when we are at hypercube 4, the representative regular body of a 4 space, then we know that it is a formulation a raised to power 4 into 8 b raised to power 3. It is this reach from 8 components of a solid boundary to a 4 space as a domain. Now it is this bridging of the gaps from Surya Rashmi to Purusha Satta would have to have a transcendence through the solid boundary of 8 components. And once we have a transcendence through the solid boundary of 8 components, then we will be reaching at Brahman, means when we are within the 4th space itself. So it is this bridging of the gap with the solid boundary of 8 components and with the domain fold of 4 space. Then this transcendence is going to be achieved. One can further have a pause here and see that Brahm is the formulation which is of TC value 28, while And is the formulation which is the formulation 14. So it is this value 14 and 28. It is 1, it is 2 times 14. So it is taking us to within a surface of linear axis and spatial axis both. It is the Kram Samapti. So the sequential culmination of end reach is going to be of a Brahmand. Let us sit comfortably. Let us permit the transcending mind to be face to face with the features, values, and format of VMS&T being parallel to the format of happening within rays of the sun, happening within human body, happening within a solar universe. It is this happening within the rays of the sun, within human body, and within solar universe. For it, we have to have a sequential reach. We have to transcend from Surya Rashmi to Purusha Satta. From Purusha Satta, we have to reach at Brahmand. It is this sequential reach. It is this sequential reach. It is this sequential transition which is to be attained. The enlightenment for this attainment is that one is to meditate within cavity of one's own heart at the transcendental seat parallel to the enlightenment of meditation by Lord Brahma, Creator the Supreme, attaining transcendental grace and multiplying as 10 Brahmas. It ultimately is going to be a transition from force space as a domain to a force space as a boundary of the transcendental domain. Therefore, the entire process for availing the format of Vedic mathematics, science, and technology is to have a transition for the role of a force space from domain fold of hypercube 4 to a boundary fold of hypercube of 5. It is this transition for the role of force space as domain fold of hypercube 4 to boundary fold of hypercube 5 which is going to be the finished state of attainments along the format of Vedic mathematics, science, and technology parallel to happening within rays of the sun, happening within human frame, happening within solar universe. Once we are face to face with these steps, with this transition phenomenon, then we will be in a position to have an appreciation of the detailed working steps of manifestation of the transcendental grace as the grammarized samhitas. The knowledge preserved in the grammarized samhitas is to be attained only by acquiring a proper insight and appropriate enlightenment of the transition for the role of force space as domain fold of hypercube 4 to the boundary fold of hypercube of 5. Once we are face to face with these transition phenomenon values, then we will be in a position to have proper appreciation of the existence phenomenon within rays of the sun parallel to the existence phenomenon within human body and unified state of existence phenomenon within the solar universe. Therefore, the appropriate phase and stage for having proper initiation for being face to face with the format of Vedic mathematics, science, and technology parallel to the happening within rays of the sun is that one shall concentrate upon, one shall be face to face with, one shall be conscious of the existence phenomenon within one's own body. It is here where from we can have a proper initiation. Therefore, the starting point for being parallel to the format, features, values of Vedic mathematics, science, and technology is that one is to initiate oneself to be conscious of the existence phenomenon format of human body. For it, we have to begin with the Akash Tattva, means the fifth element, means Akash Tattva, means the fifth element. It is a five space phenomenon. It will take to five space content, which will manifest as five space domain of hypercube 5. We know that hypercube of 5 is of 11 geometries range. Hypercube 5 is having 11 versions, and these 11 versions are parallel to the 11 senses. Ekadas Indri, the 11 senses of human body. These are the features, these are the values. This is the format at the senses level. The existence phenomenon at senses level of the human body is of the format of 11 geometries of 5 space. These 11 geometries of 5 space manifest the formats of 11 versions of hypercube 5. These 11 bodies as 11 geometric formats are the formats of 11 senses. So the existence phenomenon within human body or as existence of individual human beings is the existence which avails the formats of 11 versions of hypercube of 5, which are the representative regular bodies of 11 geometries of 5 space. Therefore, these 11 versions of hypercube 5 as geometric formats become the basic formats along which the existence phenomenon within human frame at senses levels is to be worked out. Let us make a specific note. The existence phenomenon within human frame, when is to be chased at senses level, then it is to be chased along the formats of 11 geometries of 5 space. These 11 geometries formats of 5 space manifest 11 versions of hypercube 5. These 11 versions of hypercube 5 as transcendental bodies. These 11 transcendental bodies as the formats of the existence phenomenon at the senses levels becomes the basic comprehension. Sadhakas shall sit comfortably, permit the transcending mind to transcend within cavity of one's own heart where is a transcendental seat. Once one will be transcending further within the transcendental domain itself, within the transcendental cavity itself, where is a transcendental seat, which is of the format of hypercube 5, the representative regular body of a 5 space. It will be providing us the formats of 11 geometries of 5 space and the 11 versions of hypercube 5 as the representative regular bodies of 11 geometries of 5 space will provide us a solid format. It is a solid order format available to us by having a transcendental grace, by meditating within cavity of one's heart. And once this solid format of 11 steps, once parallel to the 11 versions of hypercube 5 as representative regular bodies of 5 space is available, then we will be having a concrete solid format for chase of the existence phenomenon of human body at the senses level. A step ahead, we have to reach at the consciousness state. Once we are at the senses level, which are 11 senses, and these 11 senses are of these concrete geometric formats, then we will be reaching at 7 Chetana Star, consciousness state. Now, this value 7 is as such to be seen 3, 4, 5 and a 7, 5 and a 6. This value 5 space as a domain and 6 space as an origin provides us value 11, which provides us the senses concrete format. However, the initial 3 space as a dimension with 4 space as an origin at value 7 will provide us 7 consciousness state, Chetana Star. For these consciousness states, we have to revisit the 7 geometries of 3 space with 7 versions of hypercube 3 as the representative regular bodies of 3 space. Therefore, from the senses format, when we have to reach at the consciousness states, 7 consciousness state, then we have to reach at the solid dimensional order, the solid dimensional order of the transcendental domain. It is this solid dimensional order where 3 space in the role of a dimension with 7 geometries range and 7 versions of hypercube 3 as the representative regular bodies of the 7 geometries of 3 space. Then in fact we are reaching from 5 space as a domain to 3 space as a dimension of a 5 space. So the consciousness Chetana is a reach from a transcendental domain to its solid order. Let us sit comfortably. Let us permit the transcending mind to be face to face with this phenomenon of transition and a reach from the senses format of 11 versions of hypercube 5 to 7 consciousness states as 7 versions of the solid order of the transcendental domain. To reach from the transcendental domain to its solid order is the consciousness. So the consciousness Chetana is the phenomenon, is the value, features and format of the existence phenomenon with the human frame. It is of a reach from the transcendental domain of 11 versions, providing a format for our 11 senses to 7 consciousness states. It is this reach from the senses format to the consciousness format that we will be face to face with the existence phenomenon as a sthul sharir, mundane body, as suksham sharir, minute body, subtle body, and as a karan sharir, the causal body. So sthul is of TC value 20, suksham is of TC value 26, and karan is of value 15. Now sharir is of value 14. It leads us to value 34, and value 34 accepts an organization 7, 8, 9 and 10, and it is going to be format of hypercube 9. So our sthul sharir, our mundane body, is availing a format of hypercube 9. Therefore we can appreciate as to how subtle and causal bodies are having their existence upon a Brahman domain. So it is the Brahman domain format, and then it takes us to, it is equal to 40, and this is equal to Surya Rashmi Sahita. Now it is going to be a Ved which is of value 20, and Dev, it is of value 20. Now this reach of Rashmi as 17 and 17, 18, 19 and 20. So it is this reach from 17 to 20 for the Rashmi, and it is this value of 40 components coordinates for creative boundary of 10 components, which makes a Suksham Sharir. And 26 we know is 5, 6, 7 and 8. So 5 space as dimension leading to value 26, and the creative boundary leading to the value 40 as a Suksham Sharir. So reach from Sthul Sharir to Suksham Sharir is a reach from hypercube of 9 to hypercube of 5. It is going to be that if we are having values range of 9, then it is 5 is at the middle placement. So Sthul Sharir is at reach and reach value 9, while the Suksham Sharir is at the middle, and it is at the middle placement of value 5. A step ahead is a Karan Sharir, and this Karan Sharir is equal to 15 plus 14 is equal to 29, and it is the value of a Brahma, the overlord of a 4 space. Therefore, 4 space with Lord Brahma as the overlord becomes the Karan Sharir. And further we know 14 as hypercube 14 will lead us to 29 versions. It is this reach from Sthul Sharir, inward at the middle as a Suksham Sharir, and at the end reaching at the creation phenomenon of 14 4 space 2, 3, 4 and 5, and this value 14 for having a remanifestation as hypercube 14 leading to value 29 and making it a Karan Sharir. It is this reach from Sthul Sharir to Suksham Sharir to Karan Sharir which deserves to be comprehended. Now, a step ahead, let us go to the Ayurveda Chark Sahita. It's a Sutra Sthanam, and Sutra Sthanam is a scripture of 30 chapters, and the total number of shlokas of 30 chapters of 1952. And we know that Ganita Sutra 16 are having TC value 1095, while Ganita Sutra 13 are having TC value 958. Total it makes us to 253, and we know that a range of values 1 to 253 will be having precisely 2 euro 50 2 euro 52 gaps. Now this difference of value of 1952 and 2053 as value 101 leads us to 101 branches of a Yajurveda. Further we know that Prithvi is of TC value 25, Apa is of 8, Tej is of 15, Vayu is of 13, Akash is of 8, Surya is of 13, and Dhruv is of 19, making it total value 101. Therefore, this reach for the Ayurveda is along the Panch Mahabhut reach for the Surya with pole star Dhruv as its origin. So Chark Sahita is organized along the format of Panch Mahabhut, the Akash Tattva expressing, manifesting as Panch Mahabhut. Therefore, the students of Vedic Mathematics, Science and Technology shall complete their enlightenment by being parallel to the values of the Mandaka Upanishad, which is the enlightenment of Brahm, Om and Atma. being of quarters each, and 4 padas, 4 quarters, 4 letters, 4 syllables. So the 4 padas, and 4 padas going parallel. Therefore, one shall sit comfortably, one shall have an enlightenment of the Mandaka Upanishad, then one shall go to the Chark Samhita Sutra Sthanam, and with it one shall comprehend the Purusha Sukta, and in this background, in the light of this enlightenment, one shall be face to face Purusha Satta as existing lively within rays of the sun. So transit from Surya Rashmi to Surya Satta and a step ahead to reach at Brahm and. Thank you very much.